And yeah, pretty much we lay down and we start painting. Hi guys, my name is Borodante, and today I'm gonna try and improve my super ergonomic workspace to make it even more comfortable to use at any circumstances, including situations where you might not be able to sit at a desk if you're injured, if you're handicapped or something like that. It's an interesting subject, and I found an interesting solution to that with this guy. Don't be afraid of the way it looks. It's a simple Oculus Quest 2, which is the most popular VR headset on the market right now. I just slightly upgraded it, which is something people do a lot. It's a standalone device, meaning it has its own processor inside, so it works without the need to connect to any computer. But today I'm actually going to be using it as a replacement for my monitor, which hopefully will improve the ergonomics of my drawing setup quite a lot. After a quick word from this channel sponsor, Wingfox. They have a new course called Designing and Illustrating Battle Mecha. You will learn a simple, logical, and easy-to-follow design and illustration process that you can apply to virtually any project. This course is not necessarily about designing mechs, it is about the process that will allow you to tackle much more complex tasks by simplifying them first and developing them step by step without overwhelming yourself. After finishing the course, you should have a portfolio-ready piece that will contain all important elements. Your lecturer is Eric Schigel. He's the CEO of Typhon Art, and he's got a master's degree at the Academy of Fine Arts in the field of industrial design. The course involves such software as Photoshop, Blender, and Rhino, but it's software agnostic. I really like it because it's actually aimed at much more fundamental issues, like how to prepare a project, how to use different tools for your advantage, how to overcome obstacles in art, how to simplify complex issues, how to illustrate the main topic, and how to quickly generate ideas for your projects. Get the course now on Wingfox for $49 before it's fully released. That's 45% discount for the full access. The affiliate link is in the video description. So here we are. This is what I have as my setup right now. So I have my huge, what is it, like XL size Intuos 3. I also have TorBox connected to my computer. So it allows me to get access to like 99% of all the shortcuts from the keyboard, but very ergonomically exactly at my fingertips. My review of TorBox is in the description. My chair, the ones of you who pay attention may have noticed I returned the headrest, or whatever it would be called, because this is something you might want to use if you have some kind of back or neck problems. Of course, another way to use all of this is to literally set it up in bed or on the couch, but in this case, I'm just going to be doing it here. So right now I'm going to go ahead and start things up and actually start recording in the Oculus Quest. So this is the way I'm already immediately connected to my computer. This is literally the copy of my monitor that I actually have in front of me in reality. But the difference is I can move it anywhere I want, make it much bigger, and really push it around. And it actually makes a big difference because your monitor can be only this big and this far away from you, while in VR you can make that screen really big, really far away. That means your eyes don't focus on something really close. So they focus really far away. Well, not like this, but like much further away, so they get a lot less strained. Although I'm not saying that generally you get less strain in the eyes from VR. But using the highest refresh rate modes and maybe toning down the brightness of the screens may help with that a lot, to the point where you can pretty much use it all the time. So the actual software that I'm using to connect to my computer is called Virtual Desktop. It also has this utility installed in Windows. This is what you need to do to make it work, to connect everything. And I can actually use my controllers to draw. I thought of like maybe make some kind of challenge like that. The point is you can only like paint like this. Like the precision is not awesome or anything. Plus there's no pressure sensitivity, which by the way, totally possible to do, I think, because these things have more than enough of the pressure information in here. Like in most games you can apply pressure with more than one button. But yeah, it's just not actually sending that info to Windows or whatever. For that, it would need to like pretend to be a stylus or something, I think. So yeah, pretty much at this point, I need to let go of these and never touch them again. The only thing is, one thing I may need these for is to relocate my actual screen. So I'm gonna put it, I guess, like over here. There's like a whole lot of possibilities of how to set this up. In terms of, you may wanna, lay down like this and set things up at the top. You may wanna put the screen a lot closer and maybe make it a lot smaller. This is obviously not doing the whole thing with revealing the strain for the eyes, but what it does let you do is actually you're able to lean in and see the details better, because this is one thing you can actually do. This is the actual object in 3D space, so you can look closer to see in greater detail. While Oculus Quest 2 has a pretty good resolution of its displays, it's not exactly capable of showing absolutely each pixel of this 4K display I have in front of me, while I'm also seeing other stuff around it, so it needs more than 4K to do that. And the resolution in here is smaller than 4K per eye. So yeah, at this point, I just grab my pen. I have my tablet really low right here. It's even hanging off the table. A long time ago, I applied a bunch of extra rubber stickers at a certain distance from the edge, so I would be able to like hook it up like this. I don't know why I'm just so enthusiastic about this stuff. Also, one little thing I wanted to give a try is I would like to turn on hand tracking, but turn off the controllers interact with desktop, because I don't really need it. So now I can't do anything actually inside of Windows, which is something I don't need anyway. But what I can do now is I can easily let go of the controllers, wait a little bit, and now I have my hands in here, and they have full control of each finger and everything. It won't actually interfere with my drawing or anything, but I mean, I was hoping. Okay, yeah, I see it's sending the actual clicks like this. But, oh, there you go. So I can actually just do this, I guess. So while I'm actually drawing or anything, I keep doing it. I actually see my hands in the virtual reality. But at any point, I can just go ahead and change the distance like this. I don't know if you guys can see it, because mostly what it does, it's affecting the stereoscopic effect. I actually focus on something like 1.5 meters away from me instead of something really close. Changing the curvature of the screen like this as well. So literally every point of the screen would be actually looking at me like this. Maybe lowering the whole thing a bit. And there we go. Pretty much right now, I see literally no perceivable lag or like lower resolution or anything. I can see the cursor in its full glory. All the details and textures are totally obvious to me. And well, the refresh rate is easily 60 frames per second. It's actually much higher because I think, yeah, I'm actually at 90 Hertz mode right now, which is totally cool. As I said, the higher the refresh rate, the less barely noticeable flickering you have in your eyes, which is much better in a very long term. So yeah, now I'll just lay down. I can see everything in here. Using the benefit of the fact that I really prefer screenless tablets to draw on my PC, this way I can literally use all these tools while not even seeing my own body or anything, which is quite fun. Everything literally works with zero problems. One issue I found is the way the cursor of the brush is being rendered, actually for me, in virtual reality. It looks just fine on the screen. This is a tilting brush, so I can paint like this, and it shows appropriately on the monitor, but in VR, it actually looks like this. So I have some weird clone appearing sometimes, and generally there's a very weird like projection stretching going on, which is very unusual. Like I can't even totally get in which dimension it's distorting like that or anything. It's kind of weird. But really, it's a pretty minor bug, literally the only thing I noticed that works kind of wonky. And I'm pretty sure if someone would let the developer know, he responds really well to all the feedback. So if anyone lets him know about this issue, maybe he would actually make it work. But yeah, I'm actually pretty comfortable right now. I'm not used to draw with my head leaning backwards like this, and what I feel is, I guess, a slight nausea or something. So it's not my go-to setup like this, obviously. In the end of the day, I would prefer to make this virtual display lower, so pretty much where I have my real monitor, only like bigger and further away, so I would be looking at something much further. That's actually a much nicer setup. And the usage of it in general, if we don't mention the whole ergonomics or some kind of problems with the back or a spine, is simply if you have a laptop, you don't even have to like open it. Maybe, I'm not sure. Are laptops at all capable of working when they're completely closed? Like if no screen is connected to them, because this doesn't count for Windows as a connected screen. So that's a bit of a questionable thing, I'm not sure. I never actually owned a real laptop that opens and closes. But yeah, imagine having a small, like 13-inch laptop, connecting this thing, and having any size of a screen and working with it at any angle and at any space. Pretty cool. So yeah, this is the setup I have right now, so it's literally at the same direction where my actual monitor is. But if the real monitor is right here at this distance and it's taking up this amount of my view, the virtual monitor is way further away and it's taking, instead of this amount of view, now it's this amount of view. And I'm actually seeing all of it, maybe with the corners cut off a little bit, so I would need to like tilt my head just a tiny bit to look at those. But generally I'm seeing everything and it's a very comfortable distance, really nice looking. So yeah, I would say this is a pretty awesome way to improve your drawing setup. One interesting limitation I found though is that even though this is like a virtual world and you can make any size and scale and distance of this monitor, you can't change its resolution at all. It's like a virtual monitor, but not really. It's actually a perfect copy, like a clone of your real display. There's no way to create a virtual monitor. You can't add another one, and you can't define its actual resolution. So if your laptop is full HD, your virtual monitor can be really big and far away, but it still will be only full HD. So yeah, another one little thing I would improve in the future for virtual desktop. So yeah, this is pretty much what I wanted to show you guys. Here's my interface. This is how I'm connected. You see I'm using a pretty high-speed Wi-Fi connection, which is one thing that you also need to think about if you actually want to use this kind of setup, actually connect. The best way to do it is wireless, obviously, because extra cables is always a mess. But you need a high-speed 5G dual-band router to connect the devices. So yeah, there we go. I think I didn't really describe the upgrades I did to my headset, so the biggest upgrade is, of course, the battery pack hanging on the back of my head. First of all, it makes sure that you pretty much never even have to think about the charge of your headset, because this is 20,000 milliamp hour battery. You'll probably get exhausted like 3 times before it runs out. Another really important benefit of it is that it's hanging on the back and it's a really good counterweight to the front heavy Quest. Initially, they sell it with just these tiny strips holding your head, and the whole thing with the battery and the processor and the lenses is hanging off of your face. So you're constantly like holding something really heavy at the front of your face. And the battery in the back completely solves that issue. There are very few options to do this officially or with some kind of, product that mounts the battery at the back. Some of the products actually look exactly like that, but like a little bit more specific. Like mine is just like Velcro strips I used like this. And yeah, another thing I have in here is this silicone like holder like this for the whole strap, and it kind of like spreads the pressure on your head a bit so you don't have like a hot spot of the pressure from your battery pack, so it works much better that way. This is just my headphones from one of my older phones, I think, or maybe from actually my Pixel 3. It looks like it. So yeah, it looks really messy. This is one thing that I decided to improve last because it looks kind of gross. And generally the speakers on Oculus Quest are pretty good for being super open. Like this is the speaker. So it's like right here, and it's trying to shoot in at your ear with the sound, and when something bassy is happening, it's like someone's blowing air at your temples. Gets a bit weird, but obviously for just listening to music while drawing, it's totally awesome. So this is absolutely unnecessary for whatever we discussed today. Yeah, I also replaced the cushion for the face in here with the original one has a foamy texture. So if you ever sweat or anything into it, it's really gross, I think. And this stuff, it's actually connected with a Velcro, so it's easy to disconnect and wash if you need to, and it's much easier to wash because it's like a fake leather kind of surface. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Everything I wanted to say about the setup, I think it's in full detail. So yeah, that's one way to do things. I thought it was a very interesting experiment I did, and I recently decided I really want to share more of, you know, weird and new ways to work with your digital art, whatever you do, you know. AI is one of these awesome ways to do that, but here we go, using VR to actually improve your drawing setup. I think especially if you're not at home, since this is a completely standalone wireless headset, so you can connect it to your laptop, which is really awesome. Bye! Okay, now to actually work, which is usually the way things go about all of this. Like, yeah, it's a fun experiment, but now let's actually work.